All right, today we're going to unpack a story that is just chilling. It's an incredible account of trust, betrayal, and some really dark supernatural manipulation. We're going to break down exactly how this trap was set, how it was sprung, and, against all odds, how it was escaped. Okay, just imagine hearing those words spoken over you. Now, imagine you're completely paralyzed. You're wide awake, you can hear everything, but you are totally unable to move. You can't even scream. Well, that's the exact situation our victim finds himself in.
So you have to understand, this wasn't some random attack. No, this was a meticulously planned hunt that started weeks before this moment. Let's rewind a bit and figure out how this whole nightmare even started. And believe it or not, it all began with what looked like a simple chance encounter.
Okay, so our story kicks off with a 23-year-old student named Ajay. He's just having a normal day, casually visiting a local art exhibition, just browsing around, taking in the art. He has absolutely no idea his life is about to take a very, very dark turn. And then he sees it, a big painting on the wall, and it's a portrait of a man who is, without a single doubt, his perfect twin. His heart just stops. I mean, how is that even possible? He's never posed for an artist in his life, so who could have painted this? Well, he gets his answer pretty quickly. The artist, a woman named Malini, comes up to him, and she is beautiful, she's incredibly charming, and her explanation is, well, it's almost as enchanting as it is unbelievable. She says she painted him purely from her imagination, a face that just came to her in a dream. I mean, what a line, right? And it totally works. Ajay is flattered, he's intrigued, he's completely disarmed. He agrees to get coffee with her. And what he thinks is the beginning of some fated romance is actually the first click of the trap shutting.
Yeah, this was never about destiny. It was all about design. Every single conversation they had, every gift she gave him, every seemingly kind gesture was actually a carefully calculated move designed to draw him into her web.
So let's look at the tools of this supernatural plot. First, there's the kheer, a sweet rice pudding she makes for him, only it's been laced with a Vashakaran, which is basically an enchantment spell used to control someone. Next, she gives him the painting. It's not just a nice gesture, it's a supernatural bug, allowing her to watch and listen to him. And finally, she gives him this little black thread, telling him it's for protection, when in reality, it's a tether, binding him to her influence. And the effects? They hit him hard and fast. He starts having these awful nightmares, waking up with this feeling of a crushing weight on his chest. He gets high fevers, feels weak all the time, and these weird red marks start showing up on his skin. But the absolute most terrifying moment, he's on a video call with her, and just for a split second, he sees her beautiful face twist into something monstrous, demonic even.
So now Ajay is physically weak, he's spiritually drained, he's confused. And that's when Malini makes her final move. She invites him to her home for a special puja, a religious ceremony, and promises he'll finally get to meet her mother. In his weakened state, it's an invitation he feels like he just can't refuse.
And that brings us to the climax of the story. This is it. Let's see how this carefully woven web finally snaps shut. This is the night where all the pieces fall into place, and the horrifying truth behind Malini's charming smile is finally dragged out into the open.
The second Ajay gets there, everything just feels wrong. The house looks neglected, almost abandoned. Instead of a normal hello, Malini's mother performs this bizarre ritual on him with chilies and lemons at the door. Inside, the air is thick with a strange, foul smell, and the room where the ceremony is supposed to happen, it has this horrifying idol that looks way more like a demon than any god he's ever seen. He's told to stand in front of this thing and pray. As he joins his hands, Malini's mother throws a handful of red powder at him, and bam! Instantly, his entire body just seizes up. He's frozen solid. A living statue, completely conscious but unable to move a single muscle. The trap is sprung. And that is when Malini's mask completely drops. Her voice turns cold, and she just confesses everything. The art exhibition, the fated meeting, their entire friendship, it was all a lie. It was all a carefully constructed plot to lure him to this exact spot, for this exact purpose. So here it is, the master plan. This was never about love. It was about astrology and black magic. They spotted him at a fair a month ago and had his horoscope checked. Turns out he was born under something called the Rohini Nakshatra, an astrological sign, which was the exact same one as Malini's disabled brother. Their twisted belief was that by sacrificing Ajay, they could transfer his life force and heal the brother.
The crazy part is, their earlier spells had all failed because some kind of protective energy was surrounding Ajay, which is exactly why they had to trick him into coming to their home, their place of power, to finish the job.
As Malini's mother gets ready for the final sacrifice, all hope is gone. Ajay is helpless, literally trapped inside his own body, just waiting to die. But then, right at the last second, something impossible happens. An unseen power steps in.
Malini and her mother both leave the room for just a moment to prepare. When they come back, he's gone. The paralysis is broken, the spell is shattered. Ajay has somehow managed to flee the house in a state of pure adrenaline-fueled terror.
So what was that protective force that had been shielding him all along? It wasn't some good luck charm. It was his Pitar. In Hindu belief, these are the spirits of your ancestors, who are said to watch over and protect their living family. They had been fighting off the black magic from the start, and they chose this final desperate moment to intervene directly.
And get this, miles away, at that exact same moment, Ajay's father suddenly becomes possessed. Speaking with a voice that was not his own, the ancestral spirit delivers this chilling warning to the family, telling them their son was in the mouth of death and they had to save him.
So Ajay escapes and finds his frantic family. He's physically free, but the ordeal isn't quite over yet. The residue of that dark magic is still clinging to him, and he needs to be spiritually cleansed to be truly safe for good.
They rush to a temple, where a priest confirms their worst fears. He tells them exactly what to do. First step, get that black thread off of him now. Then they perform a havan, a purification ceremony with a sacred fire, to cleanse him of the evil influence. And finally, he's told to go home and burn the painting and every single thing Malini ever gave him, severing the last physical links to her curse.
And he did survive. The curse was broken. But you have to imagine the psychological scars, the betrayal from someone he was starting to fall for, the absolute horror of being paralyzed and knowing you're about to be sacrificed. Those are things that will probably stay with him forever.
This story just leaves us with a really haunting question, doesn't it? It's a stark reminder that behind a charming smile and a story that seems too good to be true, a much, much darker motive can be hiding. It really forces you to ask yourself, how quickly do you let your guard down?